Camp Naimuma took place on the Warm Springs Indian Reservation, which is located in northeastern Oregon. The campsite was by a big river and it was isolated and very peaceful. It had lots of animals and it was very different from where I live.
Sleeping in the teepee is very different. You feel more natural way out in the wilderness under the stars.
Bernice Mitchell is showing the counselors how to put up teepees. She was the head cook, but she knew a lot about everything. She told us stories and legends about the Warm Springs Indian culture.
Remember, we are the guests of the Warm Springs people. This is their home.
Okay, here we go.
Great up above, in the past, in the present, bring to us much great joy.
The cooks went out of their way for us at mealtime. At special meals, we'd get deer meat or salmon. They'd even fix it if you caught it yourself. We got a lot of good Indian fry bread.
Every day there'd be different chores to do around camp. The boys especially liked doing dishes, cleaning tables, and mopping the floors. It was hard work for some people. Especially me, because I don't do that much at home.
We really got a chance to check out the countryside on the horses. We rode through the forest and up and down the hills on the Hee Mountain Trail.
It was really fun. We had to cross the river once, and when we came back to the camp, there was a wide open field where we could run the horses for a few minutes.
Pat was a real tough bird. She ruled the camp with an iron fist. Sometimes I felt like I was on the chain gang when we had to do chores.
We lived in teepees with about 6 other girls. They'd be like your family if you needed anything.
Every day we'd all have a teepee meeting. We'd talk about problems at camp or about things at home, like school. It was good to talk. Bill Walton, Star Center for the Portland Trailblazers, put on a basketball clinic at the community center. He taught us a lot about the basics, like dribbling, passing, and shooting.
Go again, take off. Hurry up, hey.
Tomball is a game almost like baseball, but instead of one person running to each base, you'd have about 5 people running to each base. And you'd have one hitter, and that person would run but just hit the balls, and then the other persons on the team would run.
Tubing was the most popular sport on hot or cold days. We'd roll them down to the bridge and have races. Once you got going, you'd forget how cold the water was.
We raced about a quarter of a mile downstream, and it took a lot of muscles in your arms and your legs.
Most of the girls washed their hair in the running river. We did a lot of swimming at camp. It was really cold water. Basket weaving is one of my favorite Indian crafts. Mrs. Margaret Costa taught us, and she is a Papago Indian. She would teach us how to curve the baskets, and once we got to a point where it was soft around the edges, she would let us figure out what we wanted to do.
She showed us some of the baskets she made in all different shapes and designs. She handpicked all her materials and brought them from Arizona.
Making jewelry from beadwork takes a lot of concentration. Harry Miller taught us how to put the beads together and how to make things like chokers. They are made of deer bones and glass beads.
We did earrings and necklaces, once in a while rings.
Everyone wore the jewelry they made or gave it to their friends.
Now, see, what's going to happen is...
Gail Tremblay knew about all the kinds of arts and crafts projects. She taught us all how to make name tags that were braided and sewn with beads.
Sew it to this so that the leather covers the place where you tied the knot.
My favorite was mask making. She also showed us slides of old masks that were from other Indian cultures.
When it was too hot outdoors, we did our crafts in the longhouse, where it was easier to draw or keep track of the loose beads.
We made teepee flags, and they were made out of cowhide and special pins and chalk. The flags were pinned on the teepees right above the doors.
Gail was really proud of us for the work we did in arts and crafts.
I'm glad that we took a picture.
That flower grows down.
We went on a trip to Mount Hood, and when we got there, we had to go up on a ski lift, and it was sort of scary. And when we got up there, most of the kids were having snowball fights with the counselors, and usually the kids won.
There were quiet times at camp, too. You could rest or visit with your friends.
And the Indian religious ceremonies I experienced at camp made me feel proud to be Indian. And though I live in an urban area and not many things like that happen there, this makes me glad to know that my culture still exists.
They didn't lecture you on traditional ways. Religious services or the sweat lodge were just there. If you wanted to learn from them, you could always ask questions.
There are many Indian ways that teach you how to be strong within yourself. The heat in the sweat lodge is to clean out the impurities in your body and to make you feel better.
After dinner, we'd have a campfire. Each teepee would do skits, and the cooks would tell old Indian legends. On the last night of camp, we had a special campfire, and we got awards for different camp activities. It was so different. Everyone around you was Indian.
I got to meet new people from different tribes and places and learn some of their ways. And if it wasn't for camp, I wouldn't have had this opportunity.
Together we put up teepees, and for a while at least, put down roots.
Together we sat around the fire after dark and told tales to children hungry for their history.
Together we practiced our native crafts and played games, sometimes remembering a ball is sacred because it echoes the roundness of the earth.
The old truth remained and grew in us as we drank from and washed in the clean water of the river.
Summer fed us with her warmth, and we, growing full of care, loved one another. The nations were renewed, and we left. We made our journey back, bearing the gift of love to our peoples who have never forgotten how to share.
Naimima means we are all one people.